And we're
What's up,
back.
T-Cat? What's up,
Hey,
brother?
what's going on? Back in the
Oh,
homestead. Last time you see me, I was in the Big Apple, as they say. Um, but I'm back in the
look,
old TCAT office this week. So
also under a huge heat wave, the Big Apples. I think the east of the Mississippi is just under this heat dome we're having.
yeah, I don't like it. It it feels like Satan's uh butthole out there right now.
It's hot, dude. It's just
It,
hot. It's that good old southern humidity.
for sure. And I live in a very old house, so my office is upstairs, and
Ooh.
so that makes it warm up here too. So
And
it's
you're
one
up
of
there
those
too, big
things.
dog. You know what I'm saying? All that
Yeah,
heat coming off of you.
yeah, for sure. Well, how about we don't waste any time? Let's see what this wheel's got for us.
Uh-oh, the camera's
You're fine.
there we go.
Let's, all right, let's see what this wheel's got for us. Jack, Robin Williams flick.
I've never
Uh,
seen this movie before.
I've watched it quite a few times. I remember watching it with my family when I was a young whippersnapper.
Whippersnapper.
I would have been 14 when this came out. So it was one of those deals. We went to the local family video or whatever the case may be and got us a pizza on a Friday night, and we rented this movie and this sit down and watched it, and they ate some stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut.
Epic stuffed crust.
Yeah, for sure. So well, let's go check this thing out and we'll come back and talk about it.
Yo, it's Josh and T-Cat. Best believe that. Reeling in the truth. Stacking on the film snack. Popcorn popping. Critics keep talking. On this podcast, ain't no time for stalking. Real fine by me, we keeping it free. Josh and T-Cat, the hosts you wanna see. Movie reviews, jokes that ain't new. Keep it locked in, cause we know what to do. Lights, camera, action, movie main attraction. Critics we ain't, but we got that passion. Breaking down the scenes, funny like memes. Josh and T-Cat, man, living the dream.
I tell you what, Josh, uh, this thing gets me about every time. I don't cry at movies. This one, I didn't cry at this one either, but I could have
Well,
for sure.
this was one to really follow Pineapple Express, wasn't it?
Yeah, complete
You take me
ends of
all
the
the way
spectrum.
up here. You take me up here. You take me down. You take me
So
down. The Wheel of Destiny did it again.
did it to us again for sure.
Did it to us
Uh,
again.
like
Francis
I said,
Ford Coppola film.
yeah. From what I read, we said this was made in 1996, so I would have been 14. Budget of $45 million, gross 58 in theaters worldwide, has a runtime of just under 2 hours. It doesn't feel like a 2 hour movie, to be honest with you. It goes by pretty quick.
Mm-mm. It's very
Um,
light
yeah. Main
until
character,
the
Robin
end.
Williams, is Jack. Um, you got Diane Lane as it plays his mother, and
And
Brian
Jennifer
Kerwin plays
Lopez,
his, yeah. And Jennifer Lopez. This may have been one of her first few movies. Nobody really knew who she
young
was.
Jennifer Lopez.
Um,
Yeah, I think this was like either right around the same time or right off the back of the movie Selena.
yeah,
That
so
was
it would
her
have been right
big
after.
movie.
So the thing we do have to talk about is Jack has a disease where he ages 4 times as fast as anybody else. That's a real disease. I can't pronounce it. Progeria.
Yeah, I don't know.
The average lifespan of somebody, I did a little research, that has this progeria disease is 13, but the oldest person to ever have it would have been 30 years old when he passed. So,
So
uh,
120.
yeah, so
That's
that's way
crazy,
up there.
dude. It's a very sad disease.
They originally slated Tom Hanks to play the part that Robin Williams gets in on. Disney offered it to Robin Williams because they had a little bit of a dispute over the movie Aladdin. Apparently, Robin Williams didn't want to be in the advertisements for Aladdin, and they used his name and likeness, so they offered him this movie as a reparation.
Right. To say, hey man, sorry about that. We went ahead and did it, but here's a movie for you.
Here's a movie for you. Yeah.
Yeah, with a lot of big
Um,
time names at the time.
yeah, this is the only movie to have Robin Williams and Bill Cosby both in it.
I do that blew my mind when I seen Bill Cosby. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is the Bill Cosby that America fell in love with, not the Bill
Yeah,
Cosby we know now. This is the
yeah.
Bill. He was Dr. Huxtable right here.
How the world has changed since 1996, right?
I think of like 1996 only being like 10 years ago in my head when really it's 30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
You're
crazy,
telling me.
man.
So this movie takes place in three different time periods: 1986 at the beginning, 1996 for the bulk of the movie, and then at the end in 2003.
Hmm.
So I graduated in 2000. Jack here graduated in 2003. So
Nice. We would have went to high
technically
school
would have been,
together.
yeah, we would have been in high school together.
All of
So
us would have been kind of in high school at the same time because I was a freshman in 2003. So he would have
yeah,
been a senior and
and
he would have
Rich,
been a freshman when you were a senior.
correct. So
That's
he
pretty cool.
would have filled that gap for
We would
us.
have known Jack mutually probably because
Probably
he
would have
was a
made fun
happening
of me.
dude.
Yeah. Um, well, before we get dive real deep in here, we got us an ad read. If you've been watching, we got a sponsorship from W Energy. So before we get started with covering Jack, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to them. W Energy, just like in Jack in the movie, we all sometimes need a boost to keep us going full speed, and that's where W comes in. Whether you're facing a big day at work, or a long study session, or just need a clean energy to power you through, W's got you covered with flavors like Dragonade, W Punch, Tropical Blast. W offers the perfect mix of energy and focus. No crash, just smooth, sustained energy. Head over to w.gg and use the promo code Fine by Me for 10% off of your order. Fuel your day and keep your energy high, just like Jack had to keep up with his fast paced life.
Woo!
That's Fine by Me,
Fantastic.
all one word.
Now let's dive into the plot and the themes of this movie and explore how this emotional film handles growing up and the challenges that come with it. I will say, when I watch this movie, I do like Robin Williams, but I'm not a huge Robin Williams fan. I know some people I'm going to catch some backlash on that,
I
but
pref- actually prefer his non-funny movies. Goodwill
yeah, he's a
Hunting's
good
probably
actor.
Goodwill Hunting's my favorite movie. I'd probably put it number one, and it's a dramatic role for him. But that whole film together is what it encapsulates why it's my favorite. But he's known for his comedy, but
You're
his
right.
his dramas are just as great. And this is kind of a mix of both, right? There's a lot of comedy in here, but it's not slubber. You know what
He
I mean?
Robin Williams, yeah, and it's also not Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right.
It's which is my favorite Robin Williams movie. But I think that Robin Williams is one of those dudes that if you allow yourself to just buy in, man, just buy
Yeah,
all the way in to what he's doing in his character, he can literally hold your emotions in the palm of his hand.
for sure.
Because you never know where he's going, but to pick a guy to play a kid that's 10 years old, he has the hairiest
Perfect.
arms.
Yeah,
The hairiest arms I've ever. That's all I could look at in the movie is his arms. They're so hairy, dude.
they are.
He's like a little gorilla. But yeah, he does. But he's one of those guys like if if y'all watch the other podcast, if y'all know and love Nick Cook, Nick Cook's one of them guys. Like he gets on tangents. You just have to like know him to love him, or like love him to know him, or whatever. Like you know what I mean? Like he's just a character. So like I kind of like put them kind of sometimes together in the same like echosphere or biosphere or whatever. Sometimes like how like just like off the handle they can go sometimes.
For sure.
You
Yeah,
know,
Robin Williams gone too soon for sure.
for
Um,
sure, man.
man, I would have loved to stick around. His stand-ups were amazing. His movies were
See, I
amazing.
like his stand up probably better than anything. Like his whole bit, like
Yeah.
about golf and like the Scottish accent and all that stuff, man. It's top notch comedy.
What I Getting back to Jack, what I think is crazy
Yeah,
is they use outside people as parent figures in this movie because his mom and dad don't really want to let him grow up, right?
Right.
They want to keep him this kid. So Miss Carp, we mentioned that's just Jennifer Lopez's character in this movie, and then Lewis, Bill Cosby's character, seem to want to push him to be the 10-year-old while his parents want him to still to be sheltered away from everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Like he gets
it,
in bed with them like he's a kid, that one scene.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Uh, Probably the most wild scene in there is they call his dad and he's like, "I'm selling carrots," and then in the background it's this girl like laid out on a hay bale, all dressed provocatively. Um, what does Jack's dad really do? Is the question. Is he really an ad salesman, or maybe he's a Playboy photographer? Uh, but they lead you on that there's a lot going on back there that you really don't know about. You know,
That whole is wild. I don't know. It just like when he's teaching him how to shave and all that stuff, and
yeah,
he's like, "Dad, Dad." It's like a grown. I don't know. Something like you have to buy in. It's like what I was saying. You have to buy into it.
for sure,
You
for
know.
sure. And now that we know that
Anyway,
this is a real disease, there are people out there dealing with this, right?
I know, man, and that's wild, and it makes me feel bad,
Yeah,
like a reverse
uh,
Benjamin Button kind of deal.
for sure. I think out of the two here, Benjamin Button, where you come in old and get young, or you start young and you get old really fast, which one would Josh want to be?
The Benjamin Button,
Yeah, I think so too. Um,
because I
although,
think you live longer, right? I mean, you would live
right,
longer.
yeah,
You know, it would be odd though, because I mean, this is totally a different movie, and we don't. I don't want to get off of Jack too much, but
no,
Benjamin
you're fine.
Button freaked me out too a little bit. This didn't freak
Yeah,
me out
agreed
nowhere near. This is a lot more lighthearted than
for
Benjamin
sure.
Button is. But to have either one, man, it would be because it's one of those things like it takes long enough to like finally get you that like for a long time. Typically, and I'm not saying a long time as in like 50 years with Benjamin Button, but either way, like it's not
Yeah,
sudden. You know what I mean? So
right.
like I think that would be a really big mental uh Olympics, man, to try to enjoy every day because
Yeah,
you eventually know that this thing that I got is going to kill me.
right.
Maybe not tomorrow, but it's going to be sooner than later.
Yeah.
It just
So
sucks. Which that could be with anything. Could be
mm,
anything, cancer, anything.
I think it's
So
just life, though, too, right?
you're right.
Uh, so his friend group that he meets, they're outside just yelling at him. They're like, the freak lives there. The one kid, they kind of play him off as the dorky kid. He has glasses. In the late '90s, man, he was in every kid movie out there, wasn't he? I don't know I don't
Yeah,
know his name. I don't know what happened to him, but I feel like he was in everything. He was like in Little Giants and um, this
Brink,
movie. Yeah, he was in so much stuff. And I think they just
very
hired him because he was
familiar.
a yeah, I think they just hired him because he was a weird looking kid.
I think he's in Richie Rich too.
Yeah, I think so. In the late '90s, I feel like he was in every um, kid type movie like this that was geared toward preteens and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I don't know whatever
adolescence.
happened to him, but he might still be
Hopefully, he got a
acting.
good paycheck.
Yeah, I'm sure. At least he's gonna get a new residual check of like 3 cents because we watched this movie.
There you go. You get some royalties. You're welcome,
Some
bub.
royalties from it.
Not from
So
us, from W.
yeah, so I think kind of the themes of this thing is struggling to grow up way too fast, which even without this disease, I think kids try to do anyway. And I think it's even accelerated now in our time instead of in 1996 and 2025 that we're filming it today. I think that's even accelerated even faster. I think
Yeah,
our kids try to grow up too fast. I don't know if that's technology or
I
social
think so.
media
I
or
think they
what the catalyst
see.
is. Yeah,
I think it's social media, man. I think that, well, think back in our day, we had like magazines and like television commercials, right? With these attractive people, or like they
yeah,
had these nice cars or these nice clothes or nice house. Now they're getting it shoved in their face all the time, back to back to
yeah,
back to back. And they're seeing these models and these influencers and stuff. So it's progressive. Like, we both have teenage children, or, I have a teenager and a preteen,
yeah,
and they are like 20-year-olds, man. Like it's
yeah,
like talk like it's like, dude, just wait a minute. you're 10 years old. Just chill for
Yeah,
a minute. Just let's go outside and play sidewalk chalk. We don't have to watch these videos or whatever you're doing,
right.
you know.
They,
But it's just I think it's the environment.
I also think they see everyone's best life.
Right.
So they see everybody going on vacation. They see everybody, mom and dad's getting new cars. They don't see the bad stuff, so they feel like they're missing out on anything. What's that,
Well, I think
FOMO?
too. Also, you're probably like me in a sense too. Is like parents, like as in with Jack, his parents try to shelter him because they love him.
Yeah,
They want to protect him. They don't want the outside world tainting their precious little boy and all this stuff. So I think as parents, we want the best for our children. So
for
maybe we
sure.
try to shelter a little too much too, because we know as long as they're in our atmosphere and or whatever that they're safe. They may be doing this or whatever, but we don't. Yeah, I think it's hard sometimes to like let them kind of spread their wings, you know. And I think
Yeah,
that's what this movie kind of highlights because it shows him build his confidence and he starts making friends and he
yeah.
gets
Finding
like these
where,
good mentors, you know.
yeah, he's definitely searching for belonging, and
Yeah.
this movie covers family support, like you just said, as far as
Hmm.
mentors and stuff, but also kids coming to the realization of mortality, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't ever want to share that with it, but with kids, but eventually their grandparents pass or someone that that's older passes, and then they kind of have to
Us, I
face the
mean, one day we're
mortality.
gonna go, you know.
Mhm, for sure.
It
So
is, man. Like it's tough.
I think Coppola does a great job kind of weaving out of the humor into the heartwarming parts of it. Inherently, Robin Williams acting like a 10-year-old kid for 2 hours should be a funny movie. But by the time you get to the end of it, like I said, you're wanting
He's
to grab the tissues and
he's
you're like,
got shit by the heart, dude.
yeah,
Like I was saying, man, he can just if you buy in and you like really get into like let yourself be in that character
yeah,
then and just take and like not like say, oh, it's Robin Williams playing a 10-year-old kid, you know. If you can get past that as Harry Arms and Knuckles, then you can enjoy
right.
a nice heartfelt film, you know.
But
But yeah,
Coppola, what are his other famous movies he directed? Goodfellas,
Godfather.
Godfather. Um,
I mean, The Godfather Part One and Part Two.
this is not that, right? But it's
No,
still a great movie, and they do a great
I think
job
he's
with
got a
this.
new movie coming out, Megalopolis or something. Mega something. It's like a noir futuristic movie. Shia LaBeouf's in it and some other people.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a big
Um,
like budget movie.
but I think, you had a newcomer, uh, Jennifer Lopez in here. Um,
Jennifer Lopez.
I think she does a great job. Bill Cosby, we'll just leave him sitting there.
Diane Lane's a good actor.
Yeah, Diane Lane's a good actor. I think Robin Williams kills this. You know, I think it's a good acted movie. I think it's a good shot movie. It's exactly what they bill it to be.
Yeah.
It, it's you're not getting anything uh, that you weren't expecting when you pop this on. When you were in 1996, when you were at Blockbuster and you were looking at all the cases, and Jack was sitting there, you knew exact. You didn't have to read the back of it to find out what the movie was about. You knew exactly what you were getting. You were getting Robin Williams as a kid throughout the movie, but by the time you get to the final scene and they're graduating and he's making his graduation speech, you realize this movie was more than you even bargained for. That's the way I
Man.
feel about it.
It's yeah. It's like I said, I'd never seen it. So I didn't know like what I had heard obviously it's a tearjerker,
Yeah, and you,
obviously. So I think I'd kind of avoid movies like that sometimes because I don't really like we were talking about like mortality. Like, I don't do
yeah,
well with the feelings of like talking about like not that I don't accept it, but like I just if you know me, I like to joke. I like to
yeah,
I kind of deflect with comedy and things like that. So to sit down and like I said, get into this movie, it's funny. It's really funny movie. Like throughout, like because of like we've both been 10-year-old boys. So like you're
yeah,
just retarded when you're 10-year-old boy. Like you're just off the rails. Like you're everywhere. Like you just you know what I mean. So he really captures, I think, the kid in like us Like,
Yeah,
brings the kid back out of us too. Like, you're like,
for
this
sure.
everything's not so serious. Because, as adults, a lot of times we just get like so caught up in everything, bills, health, or, running around and our jobs and just silly stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not even, those things are important, but it's
Right.
not everything. So I think that's kind of like that's what it highlighted to me is to appreciate the here and now and, try to live every day to the fullest. That's kind of what I took from it.
Well, let's see what some of the people out on the interwebs thought about this movie before we
Didn't
get
do
too
well
deep.
critically. I did
No,
notice that, but nothing good ever does, right?
nothing. Yeah, it feels like it. So the Stunts on Google said this is my second favorite Robin Williams film ever. I love every moment in this film from opening credits to the end. I highly recommend this movie. 5 stars. Now on the
He
other end
loved
of the
it.
spectrum, a guy's name I cannot pronounce, so I'm not going to try. Um, Robin Williams was somewhat funny because he was mentally ill. Not something you should celebrate. As for the rapist Bill Cosby, no one should be happy to see him ever. 1 star.
1996. Could you
Yeah,
imagine?
this guy made this review 2 months ago, by the way.
Come on, dude.
So,
He probably wasn't even born in 1996.
yeah. So I look at this through the lens of 1996, Travis, when I seen it for the first time. So
Right.
I'm gonna give you my review first. I'm gonna put this at a 3-4, which is mostly fine by me. I gotta get that pulled up. Um, it is it's great for what it is. Like I said, it tells you exactly what they're gonna do. It gives you everything you were looking for when you picked the box up at Blockbuster. Um, it's I can't hate on it. I actually love it. I shared it with my kids a few years ago. They were super happy when they watched it. Everybody enjoyed it. It pulls me back to that time in my life when I had no cares in the world. I didn't have to worry about paying bills and taking care of kids and going to work every day. It was just a good time. So 3.4, that's my review.
3.4 is pretty solid there, T-Cat. That's
It
over the
is.
Richter scale halfway mark. You're up in
Yeah,
the
I really enjoyed this movie. It's a good one. I do. I know that's probably high, but I liked it. That's me.
I think you hit a lot of good points there, like about like the carefree. Me seeing it now as an almost 40-year-old man for the very first time, and I was alive, and I
Yeah.
remember 1996, and I think that it holds up well. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good. I don't think it's something that's dated. A lot of those people are still in Hollywood. They're still in movies. You know, quite a bit, or they've been in stuff recent that we've seen. So that it's still very. Popular. It could be, you could throw it in with if you said I having a Robin Williams marathon day, you definitely throw this movie in there for
Oh
sure.
yeah, for sure.
And that's me for never seen it before, but me being a little non-partial to the movie and
Yeah.
just this my overall score, I'm going to give it a 2.8, which is right.
2.8. We're looking
It's
at
over the
kind of
middle.
fine by me. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of fine by me. Mine was mostly fine by me. And I think you kind of said it there. You're looking at it through a 2025 lens, where I'm looking at it
right.
as the 1996 lens.
Nostalgia, like a
Yeah,
nostalgia too.
for sure.
But yeah, it's I would definitely watch it again. Obviously I'd recommend it. It's a good movie to watch with a coming of age child because it shows that hey, it's sometimes it's not always fun. Sometimes things are real, sometimes life happens. So it's good if you wanted to like maybe transition like if you were having a conversation with your child or your preteen or
Yeah.
whatever. I think it's a good movie to watch with them,
Yeah, I
for
definitely
sure.
think it's a good preteen, 10 to 13, 14 year old
Yeah.
watch to
Not
discuss.
too heavy either. It doesn't
Yeah,
get into the details of the all that.
they do make some jokes that could definitely go over a young person's head
But
at one
that's to
point.
your household though.
Yeah,
My like we joke pretty. I know you joke with your
yeah,
boys. I mean, we
yeah,
do at my house too. So they're not like I don't think. I know I was 10 years old. I probably wasn't as naive as people probably thought I was. Right? So
right. I don't know if a
it just
10-year-old
sucks when
knows
you got to
exactly
break
what
it
a
down.
I don't know if a 10-year-old knows exactly what a gynecologist is and why
That's true.
he claimed he wanted to be a gynecologist because of his teacher.
That's
Um,
funny.
it was a good one. Or
Yeah.
them talking, asking him if he got an erection while they were in
Well, yeah,
their
maybe that. I didn't
playhouse.
think about that one. That might be a little, yeah.
But
For boys, that maybe you might always have to explain it to your daughter. You know what I mean?
right, for sure.
That maybe that. Yeah, maybe so. Fair enough. Fair enough. But hey, that's a good
Well,
movie. It's been a good review. Jack, the 1996 film, Robin Williams, Bill Cosby, Diane Lane,
yeah,
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez. It's a good one. I hope I'd like to know what y'all think about Jack. We're also running low on our list of movies, so if
Yeah.
anybody wants to comment down some movies you want to see us put on the wheel, I would love to uh, add
Anything is
those as
open.
well.
Anything. Whatever you think.
So
You
far,
know,
every
within
movie.
reason.
Yeah, so far every movie we've watched, I think I've seen before. This is the first time Josh has never seen one of the movies we went. I'd
Don't
love
y'all
to
be
do.
putting Human Centipede on there or nothing like that
Yeah,
when you watching it.
I'm definitely gonna filter out certain ones for
Because we
sure.
can do that. We're in charge of the show. We can pick out the
That's
movies
right.
we want to put on the wheel, you know?
But the wheel is in charge of what we watch.
The
The
Wheel of
wheel of
Destiny,
death,
we call it.
for sure. So
Well, thank y'all for listening,
yeah.
T-Cat.
Like
As always, it's been fun,
subscribe.
brother.
Check out Fine by Me, the original podcast. There's a banger that came out this week. I think y'all would
Every
really enjoy
Thursday.
it every
Get
Thursday.
to see Smith and Smee.
So thank you guys.
See y'all.